A toll is a toll, and a roll is a roll. And if we don't get no tolls, then we don't get no rolls. I made that up myself. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. Today we're going to talk about 3v3 basic teams. We're going to show you all the teams I'm going to be taking with my alternate account, and this is the video that I kind of take my time. I show you all the different teams and kind of what I do on offense and defense, but kind of share the philosophy behind a lot of these teams as well. And hopefully it's a little more approachable to a smaller account, just because I only have 3 Galactic Legends, and really the teams that are with those Galactic Legends are kind of just tied to those GLs anyways, so you'll be able to see like what a kind of bigger roster without many GLs is doing for offense and defense in 3v3. That's the hope anyway. And sometimes I'll take breaks to sneeze, apparently. That's what happens. So let's go to this miniaturized version of my face, and let's thank my patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you all so very much for your support. Just had someone added to the role. I need to add them to this list, but you haven't been forgotten. Just no time lately. So thank you all so much for your support. It truly does mean the world to me. I just am very grateful. Thank you guys so much. Just a reminder, folks, if you want to support this channel for free, all you've got to do is like, subscribe, comment, something to help mount the algorithm. We're going to mount 3v3 here pretty soon, and don't make sure not to do that before you mount the algorithm, so you have a basis for comparison. Now, let's get to the game, shall we? Let's talk about this. Oh, one thing I do want to point out, folks, I did put out my 3v3 offense and defensive videos yesterday. So those are the previous videos. You can go check those out. They show all my main account teams if you have a bigger roster, or you just want to see what it's like to have most of all the toys and kind of what I'm doing this season. And of course, you can come watch me play all of these live. I play every single GAC live on Twitch. You can find the link to that in the video description. You can come talk about it, about GAC strategy, and ask questions about all of our really knowledgeable members. We have, I don't know, over 5,000. We're getting close to 6,000 on that server. So come join us, guys. It's fun. You don't have to just talk about GAC either. There's places to talk about all manner of things. Not her, though, unfortunately. We don't have a page dedicated to her. So let's get going, shall we? Whoa, we're in the game. This is madness. Let's get going, folks. So, alright, the 3 GLs I have on this account. We have Jabba now, and I actually just got Chrysanthemum. He's my 3rd Relic 9 on this account only. I think I have enough droid brains. I could get another 9 of them, but I just don't have enough enough cares to do it. Eventually I'll get Jabba up to 9, but I think Chrysanthemum's the better pick, especially with his Omicron for GAC. And I actually I even have the Embo with the Omicron as well. I'm really trying to thicken up this team. And I think that, guys, this is Jabba's time to shine on defense. I'm not saying it's always going to get holds for you, because there are a couple other GLs that are also going to be doing a lot. But now that Jabba can't be destroyed by Aphra, and can't be destroyed because Aphra's Datacron is gone, and can't be destroyed by Kenobi with Cat as easily. It still works, but you have to work a lot harder. You can only kill, you only get an auto kill Chrysanthemum 1 time, and then you have to actually work for it. This is the reason you want them super thick, guys, so that they don't just go down at a glance. Eventually Jabba's gonna get his ult, and then you'll be sorry. It'll be great. Check these stats out, guys. I don't know how they compare to anyone else's. I'm not really bragging. I'm just like in awe of this. I mean, I have it on my main account, but on my alt, I'm just not used to. Look at this, 300,000 effective hit points before any bonuses from Jabba or a Datacron or anything. Just a raw 300,000, and what's his armor like? 74%. I didn't look at that. Almost 75. That's it's a tanky boy, especially you have to kill him twice. So definitely a defensive squad at this point because a lot of his big nemesis are missing. And if you don't have Jabba but you have the others, I would say use Boushh lead and then get Scathguard Lando to be your third. But with Jedi Master Kenobi, Cat is kind of his lift. I mean, in a way, I like Cat. Cat's more of an interesting character than Kenobi is, in my opinion. But this isn't time for me to really preach about that. Even though I would love to be able to use Cat in other places, she just needs to go with Kenobi. And then you can go with GK here. You can also just go with like Mace if you have a more compelling place for GK to go. But honestly, in 3s, General Kenobi's in kind of a weird place. Like, he doesn't have as much demand. Like in 5s, I could find 3 or 4 homes for him easily. In 3s, I'm sure we could find somewhere, but he's just best with his buddy, with his clone, that he has more relics than, apparently. And okay, so one of the things about 3v3 is I like to keep a lot for offense, folks. That doesn't mean we put down a totally weak defense. It means we put down teams that are likely to trip your opponent up, or at least have the opportunity to, and then we play pretty efficient style gameplay. So you guys can come watch me play. I haven't actually recorded posted my last couple 3v3s, so I apologize for that, but you guys can come watch me live on Twitch, and I'll try to do that this season. I was just getting burned out trying to get those videos ready for posting on YouTube, and those don't get enough views to really be worth my time, so it's just a labor of love, and apparently I ran out of love for a little bit. Now, I mean, you guys know I love you. I just every person needs a break sometimes. So anyways, Kenobi, the reason I like this team on offense, though, is it just beats everything. It's going to beat Reva if you make Reva. It's going to beat most Jabba teams. So you got to be careful, guys. You got to move fast. I would not want to take this Kenobi team against this Jabba team with this many relics. This is a dangerous, risky proposition. In fact, I might even do something crazy like wait till I get my early ult and have Cat kill Boushh first or something like that. I don't know if I would, but that's something I would consider, certainly. So on offense, definitely Jedi Master Luke. He can go with Yoda, Jolie. He can go with Hoda, really whoever you need. The thing is, he's going to be taking out maybe a Galactic Legend, but for the most part, like, unless you meet Supreme Leader Kylo, he's probably just going to be taking out one of your opponent's best A-tier non-Galactic Legend teams, such as Malgus or Darth Revan, someone who is tough to beat, but not impossible. In General Skywalker, and so you don't need the best support. You can put him on defense if you want, though this isn't the best team for defense. You probably want a couple tanky, like Jolie would be fine, but then you want Barriss. Now, you guys will notice that most of these teams, especially at the top, have relic level at 5 or higher, and that's because I want to be able to use datacrons. I know that datacrons are a dirty word for many of you, but they are what drives the PvP world at this point, and they're kind of like mods in a way, guys. Like, think about if you're facing someone with a huge, awesome roster, and you were like super intimidated, and then you got into the match, and you're like, oh, they don't put mods on their characters. Like, you'd suddenly feel way more confident. Like that's what datacrons are at this point. They're like mods for your whole squad. And even though in 3v3 they might not have as much of an impact, they're still fairly impactful. So keep in mind that that's why everything is Relic 5 if I can, and then I just stop there. I have a ton of Relic 5 and almost no Relic 6. Some here and there, but we don't hardly even use the Relic 6s. So yeah, Jedi Master Luke takes out those the pesky, like, mid-level teams. I mean, he'll be able to take out a few other things too, but keep in mind, if you can find a Datacron from set 6 with a ton of protection, that's the one he wants. Yoda is great because you can keep calling him to assist, and he gains turn meter when that happens, so this is pretty good. If you want to put him on defense, maybe just swap with Barriss with Zeta if you have her, which I don't on this account, so, and I don't think I'm going to for a long time unless it's required. So Next up, we have Jedi Revan with Luke and Hoda. Now, this is kind of a tricky thing, guys. I would love to take. Sometimes I like to take Mace here. Like this team, it configured differently, can take out Malgus teams. At least not the Malgus team with Darth Revan and Dark Basti doesn't work, but a Malgus team with like Sith Marauder and what's her name? Whatever, the Darth Talon. Kept wanting to call her Trike for some reason. She's like the village bicycle. No, I really like this team in a lot of different configurations. I know that people tend to like to split this team up, and that I do that too sometimes. But I really like Jedi Luke on this team with Jedi Revan, just because they go in such a good tandem. And then honestly, if you can find a way to get Mace on this team as well, I think he fits even a little better than Hoda does. Mace is just he's pretty good in a lot of different aspects, guys. He just does some work, and the reason you want this team against like a Malgus team is, especially with Mace, would be that Shatterpoint slowly chips away at max health, max defense, etc. And so does Jedi Knight Luke with his stun. Something that I didn't know for a really long time, which I should have, is his repulse move here is he stuns everyone, he puts vulnerable on them, but then he also, all of them lose 10% max health and protection, max of 50%, which is huge, especially when you combine that with the Mace stuff. And if you can do this team with Mace and then use Luke as lead or something and drag all of those Sith Empire characters down to Luke's base speed, it could be really nice. Otherwise, these guys can take down, like this version of the team, or with Mace on it, can take down, like Zori and such. So this is a good, like, kills everything basically for you team, except for Galactic Legends. Even then, though, like they'll be able to like finish off a lone Rey and stuff. It's fairly solid, great synergy. Would recommend again. Now, the Qui-Gon team here with Anakin and Ki-Adi-Mundi. This is the win printing team that I always talk about. The team that you need to be pretty quick. So, Qui-Gon is, 369 speed right now, because he's plus 60 speed from his leadership and Ki-Adi-Mundi's Zeta. Anakin is... plus 60, so oh man, I need to speed him up. He's slowed down a little bit. He's lost a step. So he's still 58 though, 358. And then Ki-Adi-Mundi is plus 80, so he's I guess they're all around the same speed. He's 362 speed, and I mean, I guess I could make him a little faster with a few mods there, but what's the point? The main thing is, guys, if your opponent has a faster Bad Batch Echo, don't do it. Otherwise, if you're faster than Echo, then this team, well, like a lot of people they'll be like, oh, I see a Qui-Gon team, I'm gonna use Echo, or Bad Batch, and so they go in, and then Anakin goes and does a huge AoE, puts offense up on everyone, Ki-Adi-Mundi one-shots someone, Qui-Gon dispels some nonsense, like, and it's just on, like or rather, it's off, because Bad Batch die before they get to do hardly anything. And so this team will surprise people, and it'd be really tough to beat if you're faster than Echo. If Echo goes first, then he'll just dispel the Foresight and kill you. It will be sad, and I will not feel bad for you, because I warned you. Now we have General Skywalker here with Rex and Fives. Remember, we don't have set 6 anymore, so the teams that are beating Skywalker really easily, with impunity even, was like Maul, and Maul doesn't really work here anymore. Well, he does. It's a lot tougher, though. You probably want to make your Rex faster than mine is. I bet mine is pretty dang slow at this point. 323, actually. That's pretty dang smoking. Oh, I could even make him 25 if I got off my hindquarters and 6E'd an arrow or 2. So, remember, Rex is going to be a little slower. He's only getting 12% speed boost, but it's still worth it to have a fast Rex. This team does really well. I like to put it on defense. Same with the Qui-Gon team, by the way, guys. But yeah, I like to keep these teams that, like, Skywalker just doesn't. Yes, he'll kill a lot while he's on offense. That is the truth. However, he will also drop all of his banners for you, and that's not code for pants, folks. But he'll drop all his banners for you, and then you'll win, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm not satisfied at all, which is not code for after he drops his, So, it's not gonna work. Not gonna work out on offense, in my opinion. Though I say that, and then I probably will try taking him for offense a couple times just to kill Malgus. Sometimes he can do that against certain Malgus comps. It doesn't work all that super often. And usually, now that there's not cheap counters to this team, maybe he's gonna be better on offense. Or on defense. Remember, he wants armor and he wants protection. Those are the two biggest things. He also, if you can fit them in somehow, he wants offense, crit damage, potency. He wants all those things. He is a greedy person. Next. Okay, so I have Reva here, guys. And I know that not everyone watching this is going to have Reva. In fact, that's probably going to be fairly common for people watching this particular video. But Reva is... so it's basically just next man up. If you take Reva out, she's the tank, you're gonna put Ninth Sister in place here, guys. You want to put Ninth Sister, and yeah, it's pretty good. Regardless, Grand Inquisitor, try to get a cron, guys. Try to get a Datacron with like the extremely wordy piece for the Inquisition if you can. You guys can watch my Datacron video, but yeah, I think I have one of them at least to show you guys. It's the one with this crazy long text. If you can do that for your Mara team, we'll see what we're doing with Mara in just a sec. If you can do that with the Mara team, and if you can do it with that the Inquisition team, whether it's Grand Inquisitor or Reva, either one, really good stuff, guys. Really good. This team, Inquisitions, keeps being important. CG keeps giving them Datacrons that are really strong. So, yeah, we'll see if that ever ends. Probably this is the last hurrah. It has to be, right? 4 months later, we'll find out. Now, Admiral Raddus. Oh, and by the way, I'm planning on keeping Reva for offense. She's going to be my take all comers. The reason I want to go pretty light on defense in 3v3 is, well, it's not because I want to go light on defense, it's because I want to be flexible for offense, because a lot of people have a lot of teams, obviously, and their team comps are so strange. Sometimes people are going to place a ton on defense, and I don't like to play the half board game where it's like, hey, we only each cleared half of each other's board. Like, that's never been fun for me. I've hated that, because the second someone can find their way through to clear one of the zones, or the second zone, then you're just screwed. And usually, that's me. I'm usually like, yeah, we're just going to keep chipping away until we get to it. And in that case, I would rather have good tools to be able to do it, especially because on this account, this is what we call the big game hunting account. So we're trying to beat people who have 7 Galactic Legends, and we only have 3. Like I beat someone when I only had 2. They had 7, all placed on defense with Malgus. I was able to beat them, and I think that was in 5s actually. But the point remains, like, you want to be able to beat whatever teams come your way, and if your opponent just stumbles a couple times, then you've got them, So that's kind of the idea behind it. So next we have Admiral Raddus with, okay, he has to go with Jinn. He has to be with, like, he's Forrest Gump and she's Jinn-y. And otherwise, like, you have to have those two. And then, I have Scarif Pathfinder with relics randomly because I had him for the ship back when the ship needed good relics, and now it's just not necessary. Maybe in the future, but right now not. Probably K2SO's a better choice, to be honest. I have him at gear 12. Eventually we'll get him to relics, but until then, if you're using this team for offense, which I actually recommend in 5s and 3s, it can work as well. Just remember, you don't have very big hitting power. Cassian is actually pretty good here because your opponent just really loves to shoot Jinn for whatever reason, and she can't die until Raddus is dead. So taking Cassian isn't that bad. If you put him on defense, then your opponent just goes in without a tank. Your opponent just goes in and targets Jinn and destroys her with bounty hunters. Well, like targets her with bounty hunters with Bosk lead, and then snipes out Raddus with Mando, and then it's over. If you have a good tank, though, you can stop that from happening and potentially save the day. I don't know. Seems like a good idea if it's on defense to have a tank. In fact, it's necessary. My alt account, as you'll see in a minute, uses an Akbar lead with Leia to take this team out. Because everyone is tempted by the Relic 8 of Cassian Andor. Remember, that Relic 8 is a trap, and it's going to lead you to sadness. You need a tank on this team, guys. I would even go so far as to say if you don't have a Rogue One tank, use a different faction's tank. You need someone to tank for you. You have to have that, guys. A pre-taunt of some sort, a tank that's going to get in the way and make things difficult. Otherwise, I'm not saying you're going to automatically win, but it's going to be a lot easier for you. Now, the Maul team really took a hit, guys. You can see I have a Canderous Relic 7 because last Datacron set 6 is gone, but before it had a Canderous Datacron that let us just demolish a lot of things that we normally wouldn't be able to. Now, I have a kind of convoluted scenario here, guys, because all of these can be kind of mixed and matched, and this is why you kind of want to be flexible on offense as well. You don't really want to put these on defense that much. Now, you could put, if you have Lord Vader, you could put Maul with them or whatever. You can do that. Go watch my defense video, or maybe it's my offense. No, it's defense. On the other like one video back, guys, if you want to see Lord Vader comps with Maul. But if you don't, otherwise keep Maul for offense. You really want Maul with Canderous. They're a really strong duo. And then, unfortunately, we don't have the extra speed bonus or the turn meter bonus from the Datacron 6 anymore. So armor is not, you can make her super fast. Mine is not fast. Mine is in fact quite slow. Look at that slowness. And she's also not very fast in the game itself. She's, you know, poor adult girl. Why do you think she wears a helmet all the time, Yeah, so anyways, we've got, if you take Watt, then it solves a problem for Maul in the sense that he starts with Frenzy, and he doesn't want Canderous to go first. Canderous is slow anyways. He's also a little bit slow on the uptake. We have a lot of light bulbs here, guys, and it's not exactly clear which one is dimmest, but the truth is, Watt will go. He does a special automatically, whether on defense or offense. He does a special that triggers Maul to do his AoE because he has Frenzy. And then Canderous will he'll assist and hopefully give himself enough turn meter. 3v3, you want to give Canderous a bunch of speed if you can. I haven't done that yet, and I doubt I will. But for optimization reasons, you want him way faster than this really, really lousy 208. Wow, I'm kind of embarrassed I showed you that, but we can't unshow it. The show must go on. And Canderous, so that's the thing, he gains turn meter every time he assists, but he's the only one assisting really. So if you can get a second turn, get Maul, if you can find a way to get Maul a turn, or to get Canderous a turn, do his AoE. Maul, it triggers Maul's Frenzy one more time, and then Maul can go nuts with Canderous assisting. If you can manage all that with armor, then wonderful. Otherwise, Watt is kind of, he's your Huckleberry. He's going to help you with that. So that's one option with this team. You can also put them on defense with like Beskar Mando if you really want to get crazy, but not something I'd necessarily always recommend, or ever, really, because Maul's so fun on offense. We'll come back to this, though. Now, the other tricky thing, guys, is to figure out what we want to do with Starkiller and what we want to do with Vader. We don't have the cool Ninth Sister Kron anymore that does AoE Fear. So what do we do exactly with the team? So this team with Darth Vader lead is, in theory, if you have enough relics and stuff, you should be able to take down a decent General Skywalker team. Now, without the Fear AoE from Ninth Sister, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to do that consistently. So like, rule of thumb, don't attack a team that has way more relics than you with this. Like, you just need bulk on this. And Ninth Sister, if you have her fairly thick, is going to help a lot. So this is one variant, and that'll kill, you know, like most General Skywalkers and a bunch of other teams, which will in turn allow you to use this EP Mara team with, you could use it with any tank really, but I like Malak because we don't have a place for him, and he works really well with Emperor Palpatine anyways. And remember, there's a really good Datacron for Mara Jade now that you probably want to go watch my Datacron video if you want to see what that's all about. But she's going to be really strong, and I think they're going to be able to, in 3v3, operate independently of Starkiller. Now, that isn't to say I'm going to always operate independently. In fact, my guess is that I will actually use them with Starkiller quite a bit to take out Rey teams. However, that is an option in 3s. I think you can kind of split them up. But if you decide, however, that you want to use EP Mara with Starkiller, Malak can just go kick rocks, or, you know, like force drain them or whatever creepy stuff he does with rocks. Then you can like try to like glue them onto his chin so he has a chin, you know. There's all kinds of ideas that I have for him, apparently. So, if you want to use EP Mara with Starkiller, then you could use what I like to call Build-A-Bear, which is, that this isn't the exact team that you have to use, but I really love Darth Vader and Wat, because Wat can assign a taunt to someone, or he can make it so that Vader, or whoever, doesn't allow revives, which is a really nice ability. And so you can put Wat with Vader, and you know, if you want to take out like a Night Sisters team, if you want to take out you know, whatever team you want, you can have Thrawn go and fracture someone, and then Wat can you know, give the weapons tech to Vader, or you can have like a pre-taunt instead, or just like any tank on the team, and Wat is going to give them taunt, and then, you know, Vader can operate with impunity with Merciless Massacre. I really like this team for its flexibility. It's not really a world beater, but it can do a lot of good work, especially if you can't use Starkiller with all that. Remember though, if you use Wat here, you can't use him with Maul, and so it's just like this weird convoluted circle. We're gonna go through that one more time with our bounty hunters, but just keep in mind, like, there's a lot of options available for all of these, and the key to 3v3 is staying flexible and being able to determine which comps you want to use. That doesn't mean like sometimes if you have too many options, you're going to get paralysis by analysis, but just keep in mind that there's usually some way to attack a team that you're not thinking of. So in that case, go watch one of my videos and I'm sure you'll come up with a solution. The hubris of you for thinking you could. No, I'm just being crazy. So, all right, next we have the Veers lead troopers, guys, and man, they're one of the teams that are going to kind of crash down a little bit because they're so used to Dark Trooper getting that 60% bonus turn meter from set 6. Now it matters how fast our Piet is. And actually, I think mine is really quick on this account, but I wanted to actually just look. Yeah, okay, so 349, that means 369 speed. That, I would say, yeah, plus 170, that's pretty quick. So the thing is, you're going to have to operate off of Piet's speed now, and you're not going to outspeed all the things by gaining 70 or 60% turn meter. So yes, this team is slower and maybe a little less effective, but they're still really strong. There's also a really good cron for them where they are able to just boost their offense by quite a bit. You guys can figure that out on your own. It's just level 3. It's pretty good though. Level 3 for these guys. Good times for them. Now the Iden lead team. There's a few options, guys. First off, I guess one thing I didn't show you is a variant. You can use Iden on defense. My biggest, like my recommendation would be to have Iden, Storm, and Shore on defense if you're going to do that. And you want relic levels on them. Like, just having gear 12 doesn't work because Wampa is just going to destroy them. Honestly, I don't see it as an option to put Iden on defense in the face of Wampa if your opponent has Wampa, which most of them will. If you have an Iden at Relic 5, it doesn't really matter what relic level Iden is. You really want your Storm and Shore Trooper to be at least Relic 5, though, in my opinion, because otherwise Wampa at Relic 5 is just going to destroy them really quickly, and the idea is to time him out. So I would say at the level that mine are, they're going to be much stronger on offense. So Iden with just Stormtrooper actually works really well if your Stormtrooper has relics. Mine doesn't, so I like to take Death Trooper. I've heard really great things about Range Trooper, and it does make a lot of sense to take Range Trooper because of all the different synergies he has with Iden. I just haven't ever done it. Because I think that Iden loves Death Trooper more than she loves Range Trooper. I know you're not supposed to have favorites, but, you know, these things happen with children, apparently. Don't tell my kids that. Actually, I don't have favorites. They're both amazing. So, we have... so this is kind of a weird thing, guys. I did this in Territory Wars just recently on one of my accounts. I can't tell you which one, but I actually put... you could totally tell which one, actually. So I put Sortie on a I think it was on A team so that she could use her Datacron to help them. But then I didn't put the Sortie-Cron on. I put like the other team's Cron on instead. And so Sortie with a droid is just going to sit there without repair the spare parts, and that's worthless. So Sortie on her own doesn't do anything for Grievous. The awesome thing about Sortie is when she has the spare parts Datacron, which, you know, so she needs to be Relic 7, etc. If you don't have it, then I would just go with the pretty classic Grievous squad at this point. Otherwise, I would take out B2 and add Sortie, so then you can have this team just keep not dying because of the spare parts thing. I can't do that. I just wanted to show you that possibility. With the Sortie-Cron, the Grievous team gets exponentially stronger, but not a lot of people are going to have it, especially people watching this video. But if you do have it, very good option, guys, in my opinion. Magna Guard will just keep reviving and reviving. Grievous will keep ramping, and it'll be obnoxious as hell. Okay, so Malgus, guys, I don't think messing around with Malgus in 3s is a good idea because it opens the door to all kinds of disreputable counters. Like, people take Hondo against Malgus, and I know that Hondo-Cron is gone, but Hondo can still beat Malgus teams, guys. That's the thing that a lot of people don't realize, is you're able to beat Malgus with Hondo unless Malgus has Darth Revan and probably Dark Basti as well. Like if it's Darth Malgus with Malak, for instance, doesn't operate nearly as well. You could maybe like put Malgus or Malak in here instead of like Dark Basti or something, but I wouldn't mess around with it too much, guys. Honestly, this is the platonic ideal of this team. Well, I mean, other than having, you want more relics, probably a better modding, etc. But what I'm trying to say is this is the best version of Malgus in 3v3 currently, and I think that you should leave it this way. So then your opponent is like, okay, I either have to risk my General Grievous team, or sorry, my General Skywalker team and maybe still lose, which it does lose sometimes, or I have to use a Galactic Legend to beat it. And forcing your opponent to do that is honestly really great if you have Malgus available. Otherwise, like Darth Revan, Basti, and Malak still have legs, guys. Like 2 of them each. It's impressive. You just have to be careful. If your opponent looks like they can use troopers really well, maybe try to avoid them, because you might get punched in the face multiple times. Now, Jedi Training Ray, I'm showing you guys this team. I don't know if I'm even going to place it on defense. It's just pretty garbage for me. The thing is, you want, in this case, so you want a fast BB-8, you want a fast Resistance Hero Finn as well, and mine is just not fast. It's embarrassingly slow. Yeah, he's 263. So, you know what we could actually do to spice this team up just a little bit is, why don't we actually, I don't think I found a use for him, so why don't we just add Ben to this instead? I think that's probably going to be a little bit better, because I don't really have a little bit Bender. Sounds like I'm saying bend, like bending over. But you can see I wasn't using him anyways, so you can use Ben here. I don't have him Omicron because I don't have Rey, but I think that this team, yeah, I like Ben here a lot better, actually, guys. So yeah, do that. Don't Resistance Hero Finn can go with, you can do Finn Poe. Go forth and do that. I didn't put it down, but go do that if you want. There's a freebie for listening to this instead of just skimming a little bit. This team, this is the kind of team I'd put on defense, just to mess with people. Honestly, like, is it gonna get a ton of holds? No, I don't think so. I think it's going to get destroyed for the most part. But I did get 3 or 4 holds on it last season, actually. With this team, I don't know why I didn't think of it until just now. I remake this list every season, by the way, folks. I don't ever recycle this because it's important to account for all the new meta changes and everything. So, anyways, Jedi Training Rey with this, it's alright. Remember, Ben he isn't Resistance, so he doesn't get all the cool stuff that the other two do. But, alright, Commander Luke. Yeah, I'd put Jedi Training Rey on defense if I could, just to mess with people. Maybe they'll be like, why is Ben, what? Of course, if you have Rey, you want Ben to be with her, by the way. Jedi Training Rey is a pale imitation, obviously. But we have Commander Luke here with Chupio. With the Chupio Cron, this team is really strong. It's really strong, and I'm wondering if one of the counters to Reva this season will be CLS. I don't know if 3v3 that's going to hold up. In 5v5, CLS with the Chupio Cron currently beats it pretty handily. Well, it beats it pretty handily in 5v5 in Arena. We haven't been able to test it with Omicrons yet. Well, we were, but anyways, it can work against Reva. I like to put this team on defense a lot because you don't start unless you have your team pretty fast, which I guess my CLS is a little bit fast, but it's not too crazy. Yeah, 303, I mean, that's quick, but there's nothing too crazy. Let's see, does he have an offense arrow? Oh, he's a crit avoid, that's right. For 3v3, you want a crit avoid in general on him. Otherwise, you want an offense arrow. I forgot I was kind of old school with this account. But yeah, you want a lot of tenacity on him too, guys. What's this tenacity? 110? You can maybe get that better. But he starts at 210 because of his stance that he's in. And then Chupio, of course, is going to hand him back another 20% or so, another 20-something. Tenacity. So yeah, he starts with a lot of tenacity. Anyways, he's you want this team to be messing with people as much as possible. Again, so it's kind of a travesty that my Luke is the lowest relic here because all of the stats that Chupio is sharing from my lead are being diminished by the fact that I only have relic 5 on here. But yeah, this team can be really, if you pay attention to the modding of this team, it's going to serve you well. I actually have a crash course video. It's less than 20 minutes, I think, on CLS. If you look back just a little ways on how to mod these guys. It's an important video to watch, in my opinion, guys, if you don't know how to mod CLS. Though I think that I had modding for him on offense with an offense arrow. Crit avoid arrow is fine in 3v3 though, because of certain old school counters. So, alright, here's the weirdness with Fennec, guys, because you want Fennec to typically take out a Lord Vader team if you can. Now, there are a couple Lord Vader comps that aren't going to work, and I've been thinking I might make a video on this next week of the various versions of Fennec and why you want to use them. So, like if there's Maul, you don't stand much chance at all if you're not using Bam, because he's going to mitigate that damage and give damage immunity to Fennec and himself, at least in theory, if Maul doesn't pull a tricky one and just one-shot someone, which he does sometimes, if he ramps just the right way, which is not something you can protect against. So if the Lord Vader team has Maul, you want Bam on it. All of the teams want Grief, like Fennec and Grief, they're the two they're tied together. And then if they have like the standard like if they have like double tank or something, double tank Lord Vader would die easily to this with Mando here, because you're able to just snipe one of them out, and then Fennec can overpower the other one with armor shreds and be able to take them out. If there's now in set 8, there's also Lord Vader Kron, which has the dot thing where when he puts a damage over time on any character, he gains a stack of protection up, and that protection up is so obnoxious on a character who has all the protection in the world. He's like 400 or 500,000 protection. It's crazy. And so it's like, how in the world can I get through these like 90 something stacks? And the answer is sometimes you can engineer it so that Boba gets to go and do his execute. And if Lord Vader has like, 70 stacks, for every stack Boba dismisses with his execute, it does more damage. Deal 30% more damage for each effect dispelled. And that if it includes buffs and debuffs on the character. So if he's hitting Lord Vader, who has max health so he can be crit, you can do millions of damage to him if he has enough stacks. The other alternative, if you have Boba off doing something else, you could also use Embo to dispel all of those. I've done it myself. It works very, very smoothly. Now keep in mind that you're probably not going to want to take Fennec with Grief, or you're not going to want to take Fennec at all. If they have, so Thrawn is a deal breaker, but if they have Thrawn and they have Maul, then that leaves that team wide open to like Supreme Leader Kylo and stuff, but it does shut down the Fennec counter, which is pretty valuable to a lot of people, to be honest. So just things to keep in mind here, folks. Lots of stuff going on behind the scenes a little bit. Now, if you want to do all that, that still leaves the door open for a lot of people have a Relic 7 Zam because of Lord Vader requires it. I don't have it. I do have her one finisher piece to give her a little bit more speed, but if this team isn't like super great with my Gear 12 Zam, however, with Bosk, Zam, and Dengar, they're all very resilient. Zam is boosting both of them, and if you can make them tanky enough, like this barely qualifies, guys. I might put this on defense, but without much. Here's the thing: if you don't have the right team to beat it, this team can be perversely difficult to beat. Because remember, Zam's still not giving as much speed to everyone, but my Zam isn't super fast anyways, but she's still handing off, 40, 50 speed to Bosk. I don't know off the top of my head. My Bosk is 330-ish speed right now, so he's going to outspeed a lot of people, and if they're on defense and he's taunting, he doesn't get rid of his taunt unless you're able to hurt someone down, like take someone's protection off, then you can get rid of his taunt. 3v3, it's hard to bypass his taunt though, and he regenerates so well, and he's so tanky, and Dengar is hiding, and so you have to target Zam, but you have to get past Bosk's taunt. So this team is very good on defense. It's one of those timeout teams that people just slowly wither away by Dengar's thermals, It's stronger than it looks, folks, I'll say that. Even at Gear 12 on Zam, you want the Omicron, but I don't even think the Omicron is strictly necessary, though I would say it's strictly necessary in general on most accounts. So we also have Mon Mothma here with my favorite trio in 3s, I really like having Bistan here, guys. I know that some people like Pow. I know some people like Scarif Rebel. No, they don't like Scarif Rebel Pathfinder. He's worthless on this team. Hoth Rebel Scout is what I was trying to say. Those two are fine. They're worthy replacements. However, Bistan is a requirement character, and I'll be making a video about talking about this actually in a few days. Stay tuned for that, guys. It's going to be a fun one, actually, I think. But Bistan is a requirement character for Profundity anyways. So you're going to have him Relic 5 if you're working on the meta teams. And Bistan also generates a lot of turns because he gives himself Frenzy. And that means that whenever someone does a special, then he gets a bonus turn immediately. It's a cooldown 7, so he doesn't always have it on, but it stays on him for 4 turns, so it's like he just gets automatic turns. And he can do this thing where he just removes turn meter equal to his potency. So I don't know why I don't have him modded with potency. It's a little embarrassing that I don't have more potency on him, though. Remember, Mon Mothma is also giving out a bunch of stats because of her leadership. They have the shared they have the shared stuff. So I mean, it's only 8% of all these things, but the potency is one of them. I should probably I need to remod that Biston anyways. He's just modded to be good on his ship. He's actually a disaster on both accounts. Don't copy my modding on Biston, folks. But he's pretty good. If you copy my modding on him, and then you'll lose, and someone will be like, "Oh, who Biston your Cheerios this morning?" Yeah, it'll be sad for you. But yeah, Biston, I like him in 3s because he takes so many turns. He just keeps getting bonus turn after bonus turn because of Frenzy. Well, I guess it's 100% turn meter, not bonus. But anyways, then we have Nute here. This is GL Nute, guys. And there's a new datacron here. I just rolled it up that lets them do... Well, there's a couple different crons that are really good with them. But... if you can roll the one where they do double damage if they have max health. Remember, B1 is always doing double damage. It's only on their turn, but the B1 is always doing the double damage. And Jango will be doing double damage. Gosh, so much alliteration, guys. Doing double damage if he dares. He's going to be doing a lot because he has damage immunity, and B1 can heal him as well, even after the fact. And you're also, but the other thing is, guys, if you can get the rarer one, the one with days, you can actually get riposte. You do a special with Jango, so you set everyone on fire like they're witches, and then he gets riposte, which means he hits under protection, and then he does a big hit, his big hit after that on someone, because he has riposte. You could take out 1 or 2 characters with that. It's gonna be a thing, guys. It's gonna be a very strong team. It already kills that Qui-Gon team up top. It also kills Tuskens in the right circumstance. This team, I'm gonna remod Jango to be offensive, actually. He's modded to be a tank for my Mando comp right now. He needs to be remodded, though. Someone needs to remod him where his loyalty lies. Okay, so we have the really meh Shaak Ti squad. I just put them on defense and leave them on this account. Sometimes they actually got a couple holds. I was like, they never get holds, and then this season someone was like, hold my beer, and no one did, so they spilled it all over their phone, and that's how I assume they failed against my Shaak Ti squad. I actually never looked, but I can't imagine why someone would lose to this team. But it also can steal some banners, and you probably don't want to use it for offense, is my guess. You can also put Bad Batch with them if you have good Bad Batch. I just don't on this account. Now we have the Gidme team and we have the Padmé team. It's kind of just a weird way to say it, but the Gidme team, you guys have seen the video of it, I hope. If not, just remember that Gideon, I just put his, by the way, guys, life hack if you want to make him faster, because you want him to be really fast, but you don't have enough to get him to gear 13. Then, I mean, he's already kind of quick, but I mean, we could add another, 14 speed between these two and getting the speed set, into gear 12 or gear 13. But you can just add this finisher piece for another 8. But look at how much stuff it adds to him: 4,000 health, 1,000 physical damage. The 8 speed is obviously really nice, and the potency is nice as well. A really good piece for him, obviously, if you can't afford the 2 fusion furnaces the way I can't. So, anyways, if he can go first, which, I mean, with this speed, it's a toss-up, but if he can go first, then Padmé and R2 are really good here. Just, he gives them a huge amount of courage, of protection up, which turns into courage, and then you can just one-shot a lot of teams. Like, this is the team that'll take down, like, a team with Savage, Oppress on it, for instance, if you can go first. So, really good stuff, because it does max health damage. It's a whole mess. But this is why you want to be flexible again, guys. If you're not using Mace with that Jedi Revan team up top, which, I mean, it's hard to get them away from that. But this Padmé team, Padmé, will kill Grand Inquisitor comps. That doesn't mean Grand Inquisitor lead with Reva on it still. It means if your opponent doesn't have Reva yet, this Padmé team is going to kill it. This team is actually very, very versatile. You don't want to put it on defense because a lot of things kills it, but it kills a lot on offense as well. And Mace actually helps you regenerate some of your protection banners, so you can actually finish with max banners with this team sometimes. Now, we have the Dash team, and Dash and Vandor, once again, the duo you do not want to separate at all. Really, really strong stuff. If you have the Vandor Kron, all the better, though I think I have it, I just don't, I can't put him to Relic 7 right now, because I don't have any Bronzium wiring at all. And I kind of chose poorly, guys. I think, in general, I would advise people to Relic YOLO instead of Young Lando. Even though Young Lando has one of the hardest hitting special attacks in the game by modifier, he still gets a little bit dwarfed by Young Han, who can do things like he can boost his own speed. He can also ramp his own damage. Like, he can do a lot of stuff. He can bleed his own blood. He can do all these things, and he can make his own sandwiches, all sorts of things that Young Lando he's like, hey, I can do like 7,000 damage, and Young Han's like, oh, that's cool. Well, I can do other things that are cool. You know, I went to the school for ants, and I learned how to do other good things good too. So yeah, I would recommend Young Han for his ramping on all stats, for his impact on the rest of the team. Young Lando, still, I don't really, like, he's been helpful. He has, but yeah, I think Young Han is going to be better. And this team will take out so many teams, guys. Offensive team, for sure, in my opinion. It kills Jedi Master Luke if you have him modded right. It kills all kinds of stuff. Lesser than that, very, very good team on offense, guys, because Vandor just doesn't let him die. Vandor and Dash, of course, you need that Omicron on Dash, so don't neglect that. Wampa just kills stuff. Would love to get him more relics, but I'd love to get Starkiller, who is also Relic 5, more relics. Imagine that. I'd also love to get this Darth Traya team more relics. I did finally get Traya some, which I think she is the priority because she's going to get Deathmark if she has to face Reva. I would put this team on defense every time, folks, unless your opponent has Reva, in which case I'd keep it for offense, because this is one of the only teams that'll kill Reva, and otherwise, this team requires a Galactic Legend. There's no other team that beats it consistently. Not a single one. Now, my relics are pretty low, so someone might be able to power through with, like, General Skywalker, or maybe even a lesser team, just because I don't have the staying power that really high relics will give. Once I get them all to 5, or even eventually I'll probably get them to 7, it's really going to be a much stronger team. You can see I wrote Reva Slayer on here, and that's true. Now, Han and Chewie don't really care that much about who their leadership or who their leader is. They probably want a Datacron, and so I'm going to use Greedo here as their lead. I don't have his Zeta because I'm running so short on Zetas on this account, actually, folks. Surprisingly, yeah, I can only apply 3 of them. It's rough, man. Life is hard. Life is difficult. So I would do this, though. You could take, like, Queel lead instead because of his really cool unique. I have a video on that. You could just search for use Queel lead or something. I have a video on it. But I think it's one of his specials that gives all kinds of awesome stat boosts to them. Even if there's not a leadership, it's kind of like a hidden leadership. But Greedo does go okay as the lead. Not because he shoots first or is of redeemable moral value or moral character, but he does. Scoundrel allies do get 50% extra crit damage, which is something that Han excels at. Chewie, of course, the majority of his damage, people don't realize, is all of his percent health damage on the side. But one way or another, you want to lead with Han and Chewie. I would keep them on offense. For the most part, they're just too gameable on defense. Though, I mean, some people, like, it's so nice to be able to always shoot first with him. Like, there's so many obstacles in 3s that you're like, oh, yeah, I can win this if I shoot first. I just stun that guy who was going to mess me up, and then we win. Pretty good stuff. So this Queel IG Nest team, it's not like the best, but it also does all right. I think that if you have Hondo goes here better than Nest, frankly. if you have Relic Hondo. I just have a Gear 11 Hondo. He's not worthwhile. Hopefully his mom didn't tell him that when he was a child, but he's not worthwhile at 4 stars, Gear 11, and so I have Nest here instead. This team is relatively is decently resilient, and in 3s, people might get really frustrated trying to kill it if you have, if you have a Relic, if they're all Gear 11, maybe not worthwhile, but I have them this is a pretty tanky squad. You can choose to use them for offense, of course, as well. But with Bam wanting to hook up with like either that Fennec squad, or honestly, if you can use Bam with Han and Chewie, that's my favorite version of it, because they give him so many instances of damage. Because Chewie, remember, if he does his AoE on a team in 3v3, that's 6 instances of damage. It's 3 physical hits and 3% health damage hits. That's 6 versions of the of Whistling Birds. And when Han shoots, he shoots twice, and Chewie assists. That's 4 Whistling Birds for him. In 3v3, generating those Whistling Birds is really nice. So if you can, and then he, of course, he heals them and protects them with his cool stuff, and he's crit immune because of Chewie giving him guard. If you can do Bam instead of Greedo, wonderful. Bam, of course, is way better than Greedo, but if Bam is with Fennec, then you can, you can have Greedo, or you can have, like, Wedge if you have him higher than Relic 3, unlike me, or you could use Queel. So this set is actually going to be pretty decent for the Kylos and the Kylo and Kylo teams, because they're unaligned Force users, but mine aren't. If you can put Zeta on Hux and put them on defense, you can call it good. If you have First Order TIE Pilot Omi, you can actually do something well with something pretty cool with like Red Trooper. I just don't have that. You guys can watch my offense video if you want to watch that. We have Machine Gun Leia with Akbar here. Does some pretty cool stuff. Stormtrooper Han is the secret sauce with his Zeta. Really strong stuff. Only Relic 3. Of course, on the team, you want Leia to be pretty quick. Remember, Akbar is giving his team 25 speed, so she is at 360 speed, which, yeah, it is good. It totally is. Here's the welcome, the highway to the desperation zone here, folks. This is like, what do we have left that could like possibly kill a team? Leftover Jedi. What do we have that could possibly like get a hold on defense? Maybe some Inquisition. Like, honestly, I don't think this team is terrible. It's not wonderful, but I think I'm probably gonna just place it on defense, frankly, guys. So if you don't have Supreme Leader Kylo and if you're not going to use Daka and Zombie with him, then you can pick and choose. I tend to live a little bit more dangerously and not take Zombie on this comp. I like Talzin, and then I like Asajj with her Omicron, because it does a lot of cool stuff. But if you have to pick and choose, keep Talzin and old Daka and Zombie. If you have to, the choices between Asajj and Zombie, in my opinion. The Bad Batch, if you actually have decent relics on them, they'll kill a lot of stuff, or you'll just frustrate yourself with what could have been situation, guys. Gosh, what kind of thing do I actually have enough gear? What am I? Oh, that's right. Should we just pull the trigger right this second, guys? Ooh, that's just I've been wanting him at Gear 12 forever. Let's just do it, guys. What's this piece? Oh, I have a ton of this. Nice. Look at that. Gear 12 on tech. Wow, my first Bad Batch besides Echo to be higher than higher than purple. Wow, that's exciting, guys. Fun times. I'm gonna have to remember to refresh the 3v3 thing. The GAC, but yeah, this team will kill a lot of stuff, or it'll just fizzle and you'll be frustrated. Yeah, you need really good modding. My Echo is Relic 0, as you can see. Let's see, I do have him pretty fast though, so this will combat this. So this wouldn't actually take out my own Qui-Gon team though. Keep that in mind. You're gonna want some people have Echo. I think my main account's Echo is like at 370 speed, which would totally smoke this account's Qui-Gon team. So Echo speed does matter because he dispels. That feeds turn meter to the rest of them, etc. So this is the best comp in my opinion. Some people live dangerously and take tech out and put Wrecker here. I don't prefer that, but you can do that. Then you at least have the defense up buff, which then gives you the ability to do true damage. So, you know, and you can stun people for 2 turns if Wrecker's the right, or modded the right way. It can be alright. Geos, keep in mind, if you have Poggle at Relic 7 and the rest of them are Relic 5, you can use the cool Poggle Datacron, which is actually decent. Mine are garbage, so they'll just go on defense and lose immediately, but Geos aren't total garbage this time because they are separatists. They'll at least get that middle ability. And then finally, we have my garbage Ewoks, which I have an Omicron on Sherpa, and I don't even place this team on defense anymore, guys. They're just not worthwhile. So, wow, this took an hour. I'm going to call it good. Let me know what your thoughts are. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zareth prevails. Come watch me on Twitch, guys. Take care.